Welcome to the show. It's a Sunday night. It's Marshall. How y'all doing? Happy Sunday. Yeah, sorry you guys gonna have to go to work tomorrow. I have the day off, so it's okay for me. But that's how it goes. So I'm Marshall. If you're new to the channel, yeah, thanks for tuning in. So tonight we're gonna do something that I may have done something similar to this in the past. We're going to take a look at an old track, but the inspiration for this actually came because recently I picked up my old friend, the MS-2000. This is actually the MS-2000B, and sorry for the chroma key there. It's a little bit of reflection. I can't quite key the green screen out, but anyways, yeah, I'm excited to have this back in the rack. I haven't had one for a few years. The funny thing is my first synth ever, I always say was an SH-201, and the reason why I say that is because I had it for a while and used it a lot, and that was my first synth. But technically that's not correct, because my first synth was actually this synth right here, an MS-2000B. I had actually purchased this, took it home, played around with it for about a night, and realized that I liked the SH-201 better. And I know somebody should have smacked me upside the head, but I didn't know any better at the time. This was a long time ago. And so I took it back and got the SH-201, which is an okay beginner synth. You know, it seemed like it had a little easier workflow, although the MS-2000 is super simple as well, and it has a really good vocoder on it, which is kind of why I wanted to get it back. But a few years later I did get an MS-2000 again, just the regular MS-2000, and I used that to create a track called Inside Your Radio. And this track was released a long time ago, but unfortunately the record label that initially released this is no longer around. So yeah, I'm going to try and kind of rework this track and re-release it under Overclocked Music, which is my record label. And a lot of my back catalog stuff that was released on that old label I have re-released, but this one was a little bit weird because of some things that the previous record label owner did with the rights that caused some issues, but it should be clear now to spruce this guy up and get it back out there. So, but real quick, I want to give a shout out to the chat room. We've got Dasgast in the chat. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for tuning in, of course. But yeah, so story time's over. Let's see if we can dig up the original tune, and I'll just play this for you guys here for a minute so you guys can hear kind of what this sounded like. We'll stop that bumper tune. Yeah, and any of the bumper music, guys, if you're interested in any of that, I've got a pack of bumper music that's linked in the description if you guys want to download those. Also included are the Ableton files for those, so if you want to make your own edits, you can. But yeah, let's listen to this. And this is kind of old school for me, so it definitely needs some rework, but just to give you an idea. Yeah, so that's just a little sampling of what the track was. I think I put in the description this was 2011. It's actually 2009 is when I made this. So it's over 10 years, almost 10 years old. Yeah, so I think it needs some love, and I'd like to re-release it on my label now that I'm able to do that again. And I had actually kind of started working on this in last year, or well, 2 years ago, 2016, and I never finished it. I don't know why. But this is also, I was opening up this project file in Ableton where I was trying to rework this, and I realized I had done some kind of playing around with Max for Live, some of the visual stuff. So this is something I could show off real quick as well. I don't remember how I did this because it's been a while, but check this out. Now the track, I'm going to have to try and find all the missing stems and stuff in a second here, but this just to kind of play a little bit of kind of what I had done, and what this little visual window here is going to show is pretty sweet. So as I move my mouse, I can like move these visualizations around, which is cool. Yeah, and again, I don't remember exactly how I did any of that, but it's pretty cool. I'll have to probably take that off because it's kind of pointless right now. But so I'm missing, actually, looks like all the stems from the original track. This was actually made in Pro Tools, so I've got to try and find these stems here and bring them back in. So I'm not sure exactly where these ended up. So I'm gonna have to try and find them. This is, I was trying to find them before I started recording, but you know, it's getting late, and I do want to do a live stream, so you know, this is kind of where we are. Yeah, let me see if I can find these here, get this pieced back together the way it was the last time I had touched it, and then get to working on a few things. So let's see. This is the Ableton project folder, and I have, it says I've got some vocal stems in here, but I think it's not, that's not what it's looking for. So I've got to try and find these vocal samples. The vocal samples were recorded on a V-Synth GT, which I had back then. That thing has a really cool vocoder. I'd like to get one again, even though I have the original V-Synth back in the studio here. I'd like to get a GT again. So yeah, let me see if I can find these files. So vocals, we're just gonna have to do the old-fashioned search. We could just maybe see if it's in the original Pro Tools file. But this is one of the problems when you've got projects that you stop working on, or even stuff that you want to revisit like years later. Trying to find all your original work can sometimes be a pain. But yeah, we'll get them found out. I should have everything, and if not, we could always go back to the original Pro Tools project. But let's see. I'm just trying to find where would I have hidden these. So again, we're looking for vocals, and actually, here's all the Pro Tools files. Let's go into one of these. Side radio remake. Yeah, so these are what this is looking for. So let's direct our search folder to this. Where is this again? Ah, come on. That has got to be in the good old music production folder in the Pro Tools section. Pro Tools. Ugh. Here we go in the Shrag folder. Here we go. Bounce files, search, and go. Okay, I think we got everything. Let's hear what it sounds like. That wasn't too painless. I actually should bring those are on my NAS, and sometimes the NAS causes Ableton to crash, which isn't good. But I need to pull those over to my local drive. But let's see if everything's here. Might have crashed it. I'm missing all the Reason stuff. This was one of those where I used Reason. Oh shit, yep, so I'm gonna have to find the Reason project file, because I still have to figure that out. So yeah, Sadaskas has a question. He said that today he played a Yamaha montage, and it was a lot of fun. It sounds good, but is expensive, and wants to know my thoughts on that, and any thoughts on similar Yamaha boards. So Yamaha is one of those brands where actually I don't know a whole lot about them, because the only Yamaha board I own is the AN1X. Which is a cool synth. Those are cheap actually, because they're older now and they're virtual analog. The montage, I want to say it's like actually let me look it up real quick, because I don't want to say something that's wrong here, but I want to say it's very similar to some of the Roland modules, like the Integra 7 and that type of thing. Montage. Yeah, man, those are a lot of money. So the Yamaha Montage 7. So I believe these are workstation oriented. You could probably produce full tracks on these without needing a DAW. Yeah, and these are fine. I mean, again, they're just pretty hefty price tag. But if you already have a DAW, you could pick up some sound modules that'll give you similar capabilities probably to what this has, maybe a synth or two, for like about the same amount of money. But again, if this floats your boat, like there's nothing wrong with using this. Unfortunately, I just don't know a lot about it. But I have heard people say that they do really like the montage. So there's that. But like, for example, I picked up a Roland, what is this again? I always forget the name of this one. This is XV5080 for that Halo remix I'm working on, because Marty O'Donnell used one of these. He used a Proteus 2000 and a JD990 to create a lot of the music in the Halo video games. So I've kind of started to try and pick up some of those older units so that I can try and recreate some of his work and remix it. But you could, like, I picked up this 880 or 5080 for like $600 with some of the expansion cards in it, you know. So again, it's just going to depend on your use case. Again, there's nothing wrong with this if you can spend the $3,500 and you think it sounds really good and it's kind of what you need, then go for it. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So that's probably not too much help, but again, I don't know a lot about it, unfortunately, so I can't get more specific for you, unfortunately, Doscos, and I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I would say if the price is too steep, there's some modules you can pick up for not a lot of money, and then if you're working with a DAW, even if like it's like Reaper or an inexpensive DAW like that, you can get a lot of work done that way too, so for a lot less money. So that would be my recommendation if price is a concern. If price is no concern and you like the montage, pick it up. All right, so let's see if we can figure out what is going on with my track here. So there's a bunch of Reason stuff in here, and when I originally created this track, I used Reason and Pro Tools, and so I thought I had frozen these tracks and printed them, which I unfortunately did not, it looks like. So let's see if we can figure out where my Reason file is now. So first of all, let's open up Reason 8. And I know 10's out now, but oh shit. Why is it giving me trouble? I should have read the error message. I just closed it. Let's see. The first time I've ran Reason. No. You're gonna make me open it standalone. Alright, so let's save this. That's one of those security things in Reason, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but I had done a few live streams a while back doing some work on Reason 3.0 for and me kind of doing a collaborative thing, and that meant that I've got multiple versions of Reason on this machine, and when you open one, that becomes the default until you open a different version. And so what we're going to have to do is, because Reason 3 was the default, I'm going to have to shut out of Ableton, relaunch Reason 8 so that it's happy. Come on. Reason 8. And I've got to run through the setup wizard already again here. Skip that. Next. Finish. One thing I noticed as well, if anyone's doing any demos with Reason, the demo factory songs that come in some of these, like the one from Reason 3, for example, someone actually took that demo song, put some vocals on it, and released it. And that live stream got hit with a content copyright thing. Nothing serious or anything, but I had to like dispute it and was like, yo, this is the demo track in Reason 3. Why are you guys copyright claiming my video? But they ended up releasing it, which is good. But just FYI, some of these demo tracks might get you flagged. All right, so that should cure that situation. So we'll launch back into inside your radio in Ableton. And again, I had already kind of worked on this like 2 years ago, so some of the bass lines and things like that have already been kind of reworked a little bit, and I don't know if I like what I had done at the time. I think like what happened was I kind of lost steam working on this rework, which happens. And I've heard people talk about, is it a good idea to go back and rework old work, and can you get it to sound the same, or can you improve on it? And I would say yes and no. Like, I've had situations where reworking a track worked out very well. I'll see, and this is my old Waves H-Verb. So Waves, I recently updated it to 10, and this was probably from 9. And so there may be a compatibility conflict with that I'll have to figure out. But anyway, I've had some good reworks, like on the MTGA release, there was the Late Night Explosion. That was a rework from an old Reason track that came out very well. I'd also reworked at one point a track called, I'm trying to remember what it was called now. It was like an electro house tune that I never really finished, but I went back and reworked it like a few years later, and it came out great, and it was remixed by Hot Shit, and it had done really well at the time. It's a few years old now, but I can't remember what the name of that song was. But anyway, I've also tried reworking some other stuff that didn't come out so well, and some of that may be because of the amount of effort that you put into making it originally, and depending on your limitations at the time, you may have done like some weird stuff to get it to sound the way that it does. And so sometimes certain characteristics only work within that kind of mishmash of production, and you try and go through and rework some things, and sometimes it kind of loses its flavor, I guess. But so I've had kind of good and bad outcomes doing that. But I think this track can definitely be redone and sound really great. So let's see. Let's see if we can find my Reason file for this. So here we go. So, and I always named shit like weird stuff. So like the Reason file is actually, maybe it's this one. Those are the originals from back in like 2008, 2009. I think this is the one we want. So we'll launch this one and see if it syncs up through Rewire. Okay, so it's looking for some sounds. Sub kick. And this is a hydrogen kick. This is the huge kick library, kick 31. So this one, I definitely know where that is. I don't know where the sub kick 4 is though. But let's do this. And hope this doesn't crash my machine. One of the problems with like some of the Reason browsers is they crash. They didn't used to do that, but somewhere around 6 or 7 they started really becoming a huge pain in the ass. And I kind of stopped using Reason at that point because it was a problem. And I can't even move this over because it's literally like frozen on the other screen over here. You can see I'm trying to slowly move the searching dialog box over. Alright, so maybe if we're lucky it'll find it on its own, and if it doesn't, I know where that sample is and we can find it. So I guess let's talk about, while we're waiting on this, some what's going to be coming up. So I want to do some produced videos, of course, on the IK Multimedia Uno synth. That thing is really good, I think, for the price. And I need to spend some time, really get to know it a little bit, and then do kind of a more in-depth review tutorial type video on that, which I plan to do. But new synths in here. An Alesis Ion, which is a synth that I've never owned but always wanted. Picked that up a while back. Korg Triton. Also picked up like a lot of the sound card expansion cards. Is weird, like I didn't realize this, but apparently back during this time frame when the sound modules were kind of king, they sold expansions. I don't think I have. Do I have one laying around? I don't. Korg Triton. Of Quantum on pre-order that should be here hopefully before the end of August. So when that gets here, definitely super excited about that. And when that gets in, the JD800 is going to go into the repair shop. It's got a couple of keys that won't fire right. So I'm going to take it into a shop here locally and have it cleaned. And hopefully it just needs a little contacts redone or whatever. Yeah, so that's about it for that. And we're still searching here. Yeah, so this track, you can still get it today on iTunes, I think, but it's kind of not. Yeah, there it goes. It found it. Nice. I'd prefer you didn't, because I probably won't ever see a dime from that other company that basically stole my rights on the original. So I'm going to re-release this thing. That's my plan. Yes, here's the original Reason file. And you just see just mountains of stuff. And this was, when I had made this, it was at the time when Propeller had Reason and Record. And Record was kind of like all this stuff, like the new transport and the ability to record audio into it. And they were like two separate things at the time. They ended up combining them into just Reason. I think Reason 6 or 7 even maybe have been the one that they combined all that. I can't remember. But I had used Record and Reason with Pro Tools or something weird. Like I remember I did some like weird thing where I was using both of those at the same time, and my brain is old and not working well. But anyway, so I think we have everything here. So I'm just gonna check our wiring, and yes, so I've got stuff routed out. So hopefully this will all match up, and we should hopefully have what we should have. Fingers crossed. Oh, and live just crashed. Oh, live. Okay, so actually what I should do is take this Reason file. Can I do a save as with it? Save as. And on my desktop, we'll just save it in here. Then we'll close out of that. And I think that's because it's trying to stream it from the NAS, which it's not happy about that. Oh, come on. So we'll have to see how far I can get with this, because right now I've got to sort out a bunch of stuff. I'm going to just close that down and try it again here. But this is probably what I'll be looking at doing for the live streams for a little bit. Not sure if I'm still streaming actually. good. Try it again. What would be nice, and this might be the case. It used to be, I think, that Ableton, if you had a rework program going, it would try and open that file, but I could be wrong about that. Might be misremembering. Computer. It's just yes. What the heck? Oh, what a pain in the ass. So I'm going to try and actually open this now. And that time it worked. And this should actually not have any MIDI in here except for automation, which it looks like that's what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Oh, we'll try this again. Good old computers. Okay. So actually what we're going to do, I'm going to dig up the whole frickin' project file and bring it onto my local drive. Pro Tools. Okay. And we'll just plop it in here. This should prevent Ableton from going apeshit, hopefully. Alright, so I'll try this again. Alright, that should be good. I'll save. Sorry, I'm not sure. The stream might be going in and out, so I apologize if that's the case. I don't know why. What? Okay, so this should be happy now. Let's now fire up our reason file. And with a little bit of luck, hopefully this will be working right. And that sub kick I'm not going to worry about because I am probably not going to even use the original kicks or anything. But let's see. Let's see if it's all here. There it goes. Oh my god, this thing's killing me. Alright, I'm gonna give it one more shot. One more time. And we'll see if I can make this work. I think I've got some weird network shit going on too, because I think the stream has dropped like a couple of times, which is not normal and not good. But let me close out of that. Let's try this one more time. Actually, what I might do is just reboot this whole computer. I think that's part of the badness that's going on. So this is independent from my streaming computer. So let's try that. We'll try a fresh boot and see if that brings us any luck. Oh, live streaming is fun when it doesn't go well. I'll just drink some Coke. Yep. So also, I guess while we're waiting for this to reboot, I had a chat with Grey Wolf, Oleg. I can't remember his last name. The creator of Blue Arp, and he was kind enough to agree to come on the show for an interview. So very excited to get Oleg on the channel. We'll talk about Blue Arp. I'm very interested to hear from him on his creation there, because I'm a huge fan of Blue Arp, and he's been working on actually taking that VST and turning it into a hardware appliance, which will be really cool. So that should be coming up in the next few weeks. We're trying to work out timing on that, which I think we've got a date nailed down, so stay tuned on the channel for that. That'll be exciting. Alright, so now I've got to reconnect all these. There's going to be like all kinds of gaps in this live stream, because I think like YouTube cuts it off if it drops, and it stays live if you can reconnect to it, and it'll just be cut to when it comes back. So yeah, it happens sometimes, you know. I'm just trying to get back into these X-Air mixers for the show. And that's actually the wrong one. I need this one. All right, there we go. Okay, so we'll try this again. Go into here. Launch this one. And I swear to God, if it makes me relocate the sound files, I'd pull my hair out, but I don't have any anyway, so maybe you guys can pull your hair out for me. But this is the nature of the beast, man. You go back into an old project and you gotta like get it all pieced back together. And it can be a challenge sometimes. That's definitely one difficult aspect of this. Or like you'll do you'll work on an old project where you were using a certain VST, and I've had this happen where with Arturia plugins actually, where they updated them, and for some reason I pulled up an old project that was expecting an old version of that same VST, and it doesn't load the preset or whatever sound I had made and saved correctly. And that was a big headache actually when I remade, well, not remade, but reworked You Will Be Sorry, which is one of my more popular tracks actually. So that's always a hard thing. Come on. But as they say, what's old is new, and sometimes going back and experimenting with some of your old work can take you to some new cool and exciting places. You know what? Let me see if maybe it's this Max for Live thing that's screwing us too. The problem is I don't remember where that is in here. I have no freaking clue where I had dropped that in. It was on the master channel. No? Where the hell is that? Maybe it's on the kick? No? Ah, here we go. I think this is it. What if I delete this? Fingers crossed. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to save that again. I think that might be screwing with this too, because I don't tend to use Visual Max for Live plugins in an actual production like this, but I think I was just messing around with some stuff one day when I was working on this and either forgot to delete it or was intending to use it for something. I don't know. It was a long time ago, so old me would know, but yeah, let's go. Let's just make sure Reason 8 opens. Come on, computer. Let's then do this crap. The struggles, guys. The struggles are real. Raise your hand if you've had problems like this. Probably everyone. Hopefully. Okay, good. So that opened. All right. Hopefully, this will work. And I should probably try and get back into the YouTube chat. I don't know if anyone's even watching at this point, but I'll get signed back in over here. Make sure I don't have something funky running my processes that's giving me a hard time. This is like I click on something and the computer is just hanging. What is this? I could quit that actually. I quit OneDrive. Yeah, fucking sign out. Oh my god. Alright. Fingers crossed. See if this plays right. I bet you it was that Max for Live plugin. I think I've got the chat back up. Make sure I don't get echoes in here. Yeah, David, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I think it's finally playing. My computer's still acting like it's crazy right now. But you guys can at least see where I finished last time, which was back in 2016. Pretty sure my web browser is frozen, so I can't tell if you guys are responding to anything. I'm sorry. Oh! It crashed again. It crashed again. I think the stream's still going, but I can't tell. So, unfortunately, that's as far as I'm going to be able to get tonight, guys. But I'm going to try and get this working more reliably this week. And so hopefully next weekend I can actually start working on this for the show. That'd be fun. Again, keep an eye on the channel. Got lots of new synths here. As soon as I get some time, I'm going to do some more in-depth synth reviews, some of the new gear. I'll have a new studio tour coming up as soon as the Waldorf Quantum arrives. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. Once that's here, then I'll do a brand new studio tour for 2018, which will be exciting because I haven't done one since last August. And there's a lot that has changed in here. So, unfortunately, guys, you got to hear like a little bit, and you get to see some of the struggles that I deal with sometimes, especially with trying to work on an older tune. This is not uncommon. I've ran into situations like this in the past, and it's part of the struggle of doing what I love here and making music. But yeah, so I'll be back next Sunday. So keep an eye on the channel for the live streams. I am considering switching these up to a different date and an earlier time. Especially with football right around the corner, I definitely don't want to be doing these on Sundays. Because I'm a Bronco fan, and I'll be watching the Broncos. Even if they suck, I'll still watch them. So, Sunday evenings will probably be not an option unless it's late like this. But I've had some requests to maybe consider moving these earlier. So, I'm going to think about when would be a good time where I could squeeze some time into my schedule during the day for that. And if you guys have any suggestions on dates and times, let me know in the comments, and we'll go from there. So anyways, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I apologize we didn't get too far tonight, but this will be this is something I want to finish and get back out there. So I'll be excited to have you guys watch me on my journey here. So anyways, have a good night, have a great week, and I'll see you guys next time.